Look, we live in a divided time. There is literally nothing we can all collectively agree on. For some stupid reason, everything regarding the human condition, be it societal problems like abortion and human rights, or major political ideas and racial discriminations, has become a controversy. But I would like to do the impossible and present a statement that all of us can agree on. So here goes. The world is a fucked up place nowadays. I don't even need to mention the awful things that are happening around the world, because frankly, you would have to live under a massive rock not to notice the simple and unavoidable fact that all of us are unhappy and discontent in our own ways. I don't intend to bore you with all the details. I am neither educated nor smart enough to be doing so. And I sure as shit don't plan to give you all a solution. That would defeat the purpose of this video. In the grand scale of things, I am a nobody. And that's okay. All of us are nobodies. And according to everyone above the age of 40, I am a lazy Gen Z kid who likes to complain. So I would invite you to sit through this pointless rant of mine about the current state of our world, some similarities of said state to a game I've played in the past months called Cyberpunk 2077. I know it's a small game, I'm not sure if you've heard of it, and some other random points that I hope can be of some use to you. Thank you for watching. I guess it's safe to say that everyone who's watched at least 4 movies in their lives is familiar with the consensus and main message of Hollywood. Save the world, be successful, find the love of your life, be someone, be the best, snort cocaine out of a prostitute's anus. While these messages sound reasonable, optimistic, and hopeful on the surface, most can agree that there's an underlying layer of hypocrisy to them. For the sake of this video today, we are focusing on the first message. Every save the world story you've ever heard is simply selling you an idea of a power fantasy in order to shove more merchandise down your throats. To say that most mainstream stories sell outdated ideals and flawed philosophies is the understatement of the century. To clarify, I'm not bashing all movies, stories, games, etc. I'm not saying you should not consume any sort of media ever, because God knows that I do. And despite the fact that many of these pieces of media are lazy and uninspired cash grabs, I still love a lot of modern stories. Believe me, the last thing I want to be is a pretentious YouTuber who hates everything that has ever been directed or written. God knows we have a lot of them nowadays, and I don't intend to join that crowd. What I'm saying is that I experienced the disillusionment a few years ago where I stopped taking mainstream stories too seriously or accepting them at face value. And to circle back to the save the world power fantasy, I guess you could say that I never let go of that. Yes, I know I'm still an edgy teenager at heart. Yes, you can bully me in the comments, that's completely justified. Point is that when you constantly exercise that power fantasy in your mind, you might be tempted to go out in the real world and bring about the change you want to see in the world. Maybe something is happening in your country in the September of 2022 and you decide to get involved. Maybe you're way over in your head to think that you can actually do something good. Maybe the price you pay is too high. You know, come to think of it, I have no regrets. And even if your attempt at saving the world failed miserably, you still want to do some good and help people. Throughout most of my late 20s, I assumed the role of Unc for some kids. You know, the slightly aged guy hanging out with kids a few years younger than himself. The dude who keeps trying to keep up with the new memes in order to be able to entertain his students and find some common ground with the youth. Oh, and to stop you from wrong assumptions about me, I'm an English teacher in Iran, or I used to be before the war. Now you got some context. Every conversation I had with my students or even younger friends involved issues related to either relationship problems, the crazy inflation, the incapability to build a sustainable life, existential crises, Merry Christmas, Merry Chrysler, family problems, issues with body image, abuse, education, expectations, and a lack of purpose. Now, God knows that I suck at handling almost every one of these problems, and I got a few screws loose myself. I was never in a position to provide actual advice to these kids, but I had 3 traits which made it easier for them to talk to me. I'm a good listener, I don't judge, unless you're a fucking horrible person, and I faced similar issues growing up. Therefore, I can offer empathy and understanding. I hope I don't come off as boastful or full of shit, but I did some solid work with these people, and I'm proud of that. But was that enough? Hell to the fucking no it wasn't. Who do you think I am? Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society? Some guy who has figured it all out? A stable, calm, reasonable, and successful person? No. I'm a nobody. All I could provide for these folks was a bit of respite in their chaotic lives. What kind of a narcissist am I if I assume that a random Jane or Joe miraculously solved all of their problems by simply talking to me? Who the fuck am I to change anything in this fucked up world? For those of you who are not familiar with the video game called Cyberpunk 2077, here's a really brief introduction. The story of the game takes place in the future, in a very dystopian world where corporations rule over everything and oppress every single person if it makes them more money, crime rates have skyrocketed, all animals are extinct, there's aggressive advertisement everywhere, and in general the world is a very fucked up place. Cyberpunk is kind of realistic in a frightening way. If we ignore the advanced technology, the future of our civilization can and will look like the world of Cyberpunk if we are not careful. And brother, we are not careful. But unlike our real world, and through the amazing magic of video games, now you have the power to have an impact in the world of Cyberpunk. In this game you play as V, a mercenary with a selectable backstory, who takes odd and 100% illegal jobs around Night City. The first main job you get is a heist where you have to steal an expensive experimental biochip from the biggest corporation in the world called Arasaka. The heist goes to shit, your best friend dies, and you get shot in the head by your fixer. But turns out that the shard contains the engram of a famous rocker boy who was adamantly set to destroy Arasaka for being the most evil and insidious entity in the history of humanity, second only to Amazon. The rocker boy is called Johnny Silverhand, who is brought to life by none other than our beloved actor Keanu Reeves. The shard automatically heals the gunshot wound and we are given a second chance to life. But here's the catch. The shard is slowly killing us and replacing our soul with Johnny's engram. From this point onward, we have to find a way to save our life. That's enough about the story of Cyberpunk. This isn't a story recap of that game. I just wanted to get you up to speed if you're unfamiliar with it. But before we go on, a little bit more about Johnny Silverhand. This is a very interesting character. While the character we play as, V, doesn't seem too concerned about saving the world or destroying evil corps, Johnny is the complete opposite. V is just another pawn in the Night City chess game while Johnny is hell-bent on destroying the chessboard itself. Throughout the game we learn more about his life. How everything he did was out of spite. He was a soldier in a war caused by corps. He lost an arm and any shred of optimism towards the status quo and swore to destroy Arasaka by any means necessary. He was a dick to everyone who meant anything to him, and his ultimate plan of destroying Arasaka and saving the world went to shit. His whole character arc revolves around him figuring that out. To circle back to the power fantasy I mentioned before, in this game V can unlock a multitude of powers with the help of technologically advanced implants and weaponry. I mean, you can wreak havoc upon the poor criminals and corpos of Night City. Seriously, in the gameplay department, this game fucks. I have prepared the video for Cyberpunk, but I don't know if it's uploaded now or it will be in after the video. I don't know. Watch that if you're interested. But here's the funny thing. Despite the awesome power fantasy that Cyberpunk provides for the player, it is still impossible to create actual change in the world. Sure, you could hunt this evil group of criminals called scavs, who specialize in kidnapping random folks of Night City and extracting their implants in order to sell them to the highest bidder. But guess what? There will always be more of them. You could kill as many Arasaka henchmen as you come across, but they will be replaced by bigger and badder henchmen. Kill as many max stack soldiers as you want, there's always more. And this lack of power in this power fantasy is nowhere more prevalent than the ending of the game. No matter what ending you choose, Arasaka will not be wiped off the map and Night City will remain a cesspool of human indecencies. Hell, you can't even save your own life properly. You can remove Johnny from your body, but because of the damages done to your body and mind, you only have 6 months to live. You can dedicate these 6 months to being a Night City play Legend and pull off the heist of the century, or you can spend it with your girlfriend. Even if you remove Johnny and reverse the damages, you go to a coma for 2 years and come back to literally everyone leaving you behind and you becoming a random nobody on the streets of the city that will devour you whole. None of these scenarios are considered good endings. What is the price of staying alive? Losing everything? Fuck that! The only sensible ending was leaving the body to Johnny. Yes, the Temperance ending is the best one. At the beginning of the game, Johnny is a psychopathic dick who's hellbent on killing you and taking over your body. But the more you play, a heartfelt friendship gets formed between the two of you. At least by giving over my body to him, he has a second chance to be a better person than he's ever been. I mean, come on, it's Keanu Reeves! But what about V? What about us? You see, even in a video game which provides the player with an all-out, full-throttle, high-octane power fantasy, we were still incapable of doing any actual good. Giving the body to Johnny is not a happy ending either, as he is also left alone in the world that he could not fix. I'm starting to see a pattern here. I grew up with a mission to save the world. I tried once and failed miserably. I tried to help others but was unable to bring about actual change. And even in my video games where I'm basically a god, I am unable to fix anything. Isn't this maddening? This feeling of powerlessness? It almost makes you feel useless. It feels like we lost and there's no rematch. I guess I get nihilism now. Wait. Pause. No. Fuck that. This isn't over. You think I made you come all this way just to make you feel useless? No! You are a human being, goddammit. Your life has value. And this game is only over if you think it's over. Get your shit together, my friend. We're not done. If at any point in your life you ever felt powerless to change anything, that is completely a-okay. You know what? I'm gonna do something radical here. The fact that you were ever incepted with the idea that you were supposed to save or fix anything in the world is complete and utter bullshit. This burden you feel on your shoulders was made by false pretenses, and from now on, I advise you to get rid of it once and for all. Done and dusted. Finished. Now, there might be some misunderstandings being formed in your minds. What is this random guy on the internet talking about? What am I supposed to do? Just let everything go and live my life like a nihilistic prick? And to answer your question, my friend, I gotta say hell to the fucking no! I am simply asking you to change your war. Instead of burdening the weight of the world, why don't you take a moment and help yourself? If you have played Cyberpunk or any other open world game ever, you are familiar with the concept of you are the main character of this world and you are going to do a shit ton of side quests and help every single soul in this world. Now, if you're like me, you might have transferred that attitude to your daily life. Maybe you've tried to help the people in your life the exact way you did in games. That's awesome if you're like that. Don't change. We need selfless people like you. But if you think for a second that you should prioritize anyone over yourself, you are wrong, because it is fundamentally wrong and impossible to help someone when you in fact are in need of help. It's like getting relationship advice from someone who's always been in failed and toxic relationships and has a disdain for the opposite sex. Of course that's nonsense. Look, I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. You were never obliged to bring about global and positive change, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And if you're still burdened by the idea that you must do something good, it would be a betrayal not to do that good thing for yourself first. I know there's a high chance that I'm talking out of my butt here. It is very possible that I am in fact way in over my head. I know that, believe me. And I know a lot of things which are affecting your life in a negative way are also out of your hands. Maybe it's because of geographical determinism. Maybe the economic situation in your country is preventing you from enacting even the simplest personal changes. I know that, but the truth is that our lives are not ordinary ones where we are born, become content for some time, and then we die. We are born into a battlefield. Everything in this world that has any sort of power is out to take a piece out of us. I don't know about you, but I'm not giving up. Not on myself. Not because some fucking retarded motivational speakers told me to wake up at 4 a.m. and make my bed. I am not giving up because I choose not to. I choose to save myself. And eventually when I feel better, I can provide a bit of respite for younger generations instead of scorning them. I suggest you do the same.